Hey everybody, in today's video I'm going to show you how you can create a random data set in Excel. So this can be useful for testing purposes if you just want to play around with numbers and charts and creating a spreadsheet where you don't want to necessarily have the same sort of visuals over and over again showing up. So I'll show you how we can create the data set and then randomize it each and every time. So I'll start with a few fields here, customers and vendors, and then I'll move on to randomizing the date as well as the sales number as well. So for customers, I'm just going to create a simple table. Let's say customer A, customer B, customer C, customer D, and all the way up to, let's say, E, just so there's a bit of a mix there. So that'll be my header. And then let's create another one for vendors. So I've created a list of some of the top vendors I could possibly use for expenses. Go to Amazon, Costco, CVS, Dollar General, and a bunch of others here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a lookup function and combine it with the random number generator to randomly select one of these customers and one of these vendors for each and every line item. So for customers, I go up to row 6. So I'm going to look for a random number generator between numbers 2 and 6. For the vendors, between 2 and 11. So I'll show you how this works. So for the customers, I'm going to use the index function and select this entire column. And you'll notice here I've got row number. So I can specify which row number I want to select. Now, I don't want to make this a static number because, again, I want it to be random. So I can use Excel's rand between function where I can specify either from a bottom number of 2 to a high of 6. And the column number is going to be 1 because I don't have multiple columns. Close this out, and you can see I've got customer D selected. I can copy this down, and you'll notice now I've got randomized customer selected. I'll do the same approach for the vendors. Index, select this, row number, and this time rand between is going to be from 2 to 11. So 2, 11. And in this case, I actually cheated. I didn't put that in the last argument because, again, I've only got the one column. So Excel can figure out what I'm trying to do. Copy this down. And again, we've got a randomized list of vendors. Now, the date part, this one is going to take a little bit more effort just because we can't just put any random date, right? Because, we don't want from the start of time. The sort of history. If you're looking at a range, let's say we're looking at 2022, right? We have a date range in mind. So let's say our start date and our end date. And you'll notice each time I'm entering data, that's enough to cause a refresh. So if you ever want your data set to stay the same after this, you don't want it to change on you, what you can do is select it, copy, and then just paste it as values. That way the formulas disappear and you won't recalculate, because anytime I do anything, like even just clicking the delete key, it's going to trigger a refresh. So if you want to stop that from happening, you need to get rid of these formulas and convert them into values. But back to setting in the date field, what I'm going to do is set a lower range. So let's say January 1 will automatically give me January 1st, 2022. Let's also say December 31st. Gives me December 31st, 2022. Now, this isn't terribly useful right now, but what I can do is convert these into numbers. And so just like that, now I can use my rand between function again. So I'll type rand between. And so you can either hard code these in here or you can reference them like so. So I'll have to freeze this because I don't want this to change. Copy it down. And now I'll convert this back into a date. And so just like that, now my dates are also randomizing, and more importantly, they're within the range that I want. So the beauty of this is you can modify this however you want. If you want to change the dates, you can do so. Type it in as a date first and then convert it to a number just so it's easier for you to see what it looks like. And then the last piece really is sales. So this can be just another rand between function, where let's say anywhere from $10 to $100. And copy this down, put a $sign, And there we go. We got some nice round numbers to work with. Now, if you wanted some decimal places in these numbers, the one thing you could do is choose a larger range here. Divide the result by 100. All right, so we can modify this to make it larger. And so you've got some decimal places in there. So copy that down, and now you've got more of a range, and you're not limited to just two numbers. You can have more decimal places in there. So once you got this data set, you can decide how large you want it to be. Expand this down, and again, you can keep on randomizing until you like it. Any sort of calculation, and then, like I said, once you're happy with it, copy and then paste as values. And now once I do that, now it's not going to recalculate, but of course I've lost the formulas in the process. But that's how you can create a random data set in Excel that you can work your calculations on or do your testing on if you've got a template, or just want to try some things you learn in Excel without having to go on the hunt for some data set that's already been prepared for you by somebody else. So hope you found this video useful, and thank you for watching.